need to fix my hair, but we're going to go and do it anyway. So today I want to show you just a couple of quick and easy installs, essentially. So on the last workshop, it was a lot of theory, a lot of here's everything. Oh, my. Okay. This lady's just popped on. Of course, always listening, just never when I need her. So I want to show you guys how I organize my inbox really quickly and easily. If you use Google for your work, like you have a Google Workspace account, then this is already included. Or if you are on just like a personal plan, you can get, I think the $8 a month plan, maybe the $20 a month plan should do this as well, and show you how I really quickly and easily organize all of my emails. So I only ever have like 20 in there tops, even though I might get a couple hundred a day. So I have a couple of filters, but they're smart filters. Of course, you can set up regular rules and filters and unsubscribes and things like that. I find this is a little smarter. So this is why I'm going to show you guys my screen here. Yeah, pull up the right window. And because I am techie, but I'm not always usefully techie, I'm going to show you guys my spam folder because I do not know how to dropping stuff. I do not know how to blur out my screen while I'm live. I only know how to blur it out on a recording. So we're just going to go with the spam folder. So what you're going to do, oh, I gotta sneeze. This will be just as chaotic as the last one, guys, I promise. When you are in your Google, you'll see up here at the top, you should see a little Gemini gem. This will either be here or maybe up here, depending on if you're personal or workspace. You can ask it questions, like you can ask Gemini what it can do in Gmail, so you can see what Gemini can do. And you see here, it can draft and refine. It makes you actually hit send. It just puts stuff in your drafts. It'll summarize or suggest replies. It can help you review the priorities, all kinds of different things here. But we want to go a step further because this is great, but it could be better. And this still involves us like queuing up Gemini. And the whole goal is for us to do less and have stuff just be done, right? So up here, right next to Gem, you should see Studio. If you don't see it, you might have to toggle around, play with your settings a little bit, or maybe go into like your admin workspace and make sure it is turned on for you as the user. Even if you're a one-person company, still got to do that. So when you click on Studio, it'll probably pop you onto Discover first off if you haven't clicked on it before. And it'll give you a couple of simple workflows that you can just like click and run if you want. Then there's also the activity feed, which shows you all the past runs. I hit my limit, so I'm getting a lot of errors because it's not running. And then you can also create your own flows, which is what I've done. I played around with a couple of them, but this auto categorize is the one that I use the most. So you can start with one of these and it pretty much just kind of has it built for you. And we'll come down here into do more in Studio because there's even more. It gives you a little handful. There's more already pre-built. So like you can get the pre-meeting briefs, you can catch up on summaries, on news, whatever. You can look at any of these, again, pre-built workflows, and it shows you which of the apps it's going to be using to do the things. To start with, you can totally just do like label emails with action items. It's pretty good. It uses Gemini to determine if it's really an action item or not, but the way some people word their emails might get you a few more than you bargained for. Similarly, you can like auto-create Google tasks from the meeting notes if you use Google Meeting. If Google Gemini sees that there's tasks in a customer request, it'll create a Google task. There's all kinds of different things here that are just pre-built and ready to go. If you want to be more specific though, you can do a flow. So you would just do new flow And then you would start building it like you would build any other essentially workflow at this point. Like if you're familiar with N8N or Zapier, as basically this built in and wired hard into Google. So you start with, say you want to filter like what I have. I'll show you guys my flow real quick. And you can screenshot all of this as well. So if you screenshot this and then chuck those screenshots into Gemini or ChatGPT, it can pull the text and really help pretty much do this for you. So first is when I get an email, we're going to ask Gemini, and I have this prompt in here. Now Gemini created this prompt for me. So you'll see I'll go do a blank one in a second, but it helps walk you through this. You don't need to do all of this or exactly this or any of that. So basically I have newsletters, promotions, and others. And it defines what's a newsletter versus what's a promotion versus what's other. Then there's some variables, which is this one here. And then telling it, okay, analyze it, figure out what it is, and just only tell me the category name. And then I have a couple of exceptions that I put other places. Then we put a deciding filter in here. So if it contains the word newsletter, so if this Gemini decides the category is newsletter, decision is true that it's a newsletter, cool. We're going to add the label using Gemini. So Gemini is going to come in here and it's going to add the newsletter label to it. And it's also going to archive it, so it's out of my inbox. Second step, because we have more than one folder, right? So we're going to decide if the response from this first one is promotion. Same thing. It's going to add the promotion label or the promotion folder. It's going to archive it. And then similar, we're going to say, okay, anything, basically, this is like the others. So summarize email threads, keep me up to date, and then decide if it's one of these senders, we're going to put it somewhere different. So these ones I like to save into my newsletter inspo box because I had you guys on the spam. It's not showing up. But this is a very smart folder, which is how I have 878 in promotions, because I need to go in there and see what else is going on. I need to look and see. Honestly, 9 times out of 10, I will just go in and like delete this entire inbox because I'm too overwhelmed. Yes, it does make me miss stuff every now and then if it labels it promotion accidentally, but I try to be really good about anyone I need to talk to, putting them in my contacts so that doesn't happen. Now, if we're going to go create this on our own, we're going to create a new flow, and we're going to say when I get an email, we're going to say all emails. All emails. There we go. Next, we can ask a gem, which is just a saved Gmail prompt. We can read, extract, summarize, decide, whatever. We have all these different options here. So depending on what you want to do, these can be done. So say when we get an email, we want to decide, actually, let's not do decide. So we'll delete this one, delete the sub step. We're going to ask Gemini. We can say, summarize it, or we can put in that one where we say, click, there we go. Too many things on here. So we can say, determine if this is from a contact or a marketing message. If marketing message, let's see, let's do it this way. If from a contact, I don't know why I'm typing this and not voicing it. So if from a contact, do nothing. If a promotion or marketing message, proceed to next step. So this is really basic. We could make it easier. Back on that first page, you can like describe it and I'll build this all out for you. I'm just showing you the manual way if you want to. So decide, yep, and determine if it's urgent. Honestly, that's probably going to be good for what we want. If the decision is true, meaning, so here we're looking, determine the priority. If it's a priority, we are going to do that. Okay, sub-step, and we're going to start it. Okay, that's my way. All right, so if it's from a contact, it'll proceed to next step. If not, it'll mark it as read. And it's going to start the email if it's from a contact. We probably could make this a little more clear. It might confuse it. It's very logical and illogical at the same time. But this is just to show you how you can build as many steps or as much as you want in here, really. And then when you're ready, you can test it and then turn it on. If you don't want to mess with all of that, you can just here on this main Discover page, describe the task. So you can say, help me filter out marketing messages from contacts and clients. I don't want to see the marketing messages. I want them to go into my marketing folder. Anything from a contact or client should be starred and moved to the top of my inbox and left on unread. So I just voice prompted that with Whisper Flow. If you guys were curious, I don't think you could see that. So just like any other chat interface, you can tell it what you want, give it some context. Obviously, it's pretty messy. And then just click create. And this is Gemini is going to think through it. So you don't have to build it manually if you don't want to, but you can edit and play around with it how you want to. And it really doesn't take very long. You can see here's what it did when it gets an email. It's going to decide, is it a marketing message, newsletter, or promotional? If it is, then it's going to archive that specific email. If it's from a contact, client, or does not appear to be some kind of marketing, then that being true, it's going to star it and it's going to mark it as unread. And this email ID is just the back end that we as humans don't see, but it's really all the AIs and tech, what it sees. So then all you would do would be test run and then turn on. Since I already have a similar one going, I'm not going to test run it or turn it on. But that is the quickest and easiest way to do this in Google, whether you're on personal or workspace. I know for sure Google Workspace this works because that's what I'm using. I'm guessing you could do something similar, if not the exact same, on a paid personal plan as well. Now, if you don't have Google, or if you just don't want to use Studio or it's not working, you don't have that, whatever, you can do the same thing more or less through like ChatGPT or Claude. I will say they don't work quite as well. They use a few more tokens. They're a little slower. Using the AIs built into big softwares like Google tends to be better than trying to force an outside one to act on your behalf in a browser. So like if you were, trying to get ChatGPT to come in here, it can do it, but it's going to do it in the browser. So it kind of takes over your screen and does some things, which is fine. But this just runs in the background. The same thing if you're trying to use, say, Claude to set up your meta ads or something like that. It's not going to do as good of a job necessarily as the native built-in meta AI. Just because it's built for it, it doesn't have to go through extra layers of security. They're already connected because they're one and the same company. So this is the quickest and easiest way to get your inbox under control. And if you did the voice exercise from the last workshop, you can also put that in here as well. You could add it as like a sub-step, Or honestly, this is where the gems come in. So where were we? We were playing around. Let's do a different one. So say when I get an email, we say ask a gem. So a gem would be something you save. So you would create a gem in Gemini. Gems are just saved prompt skills, essentially. Prompts and skills, more or less the same thing at the intro level. So you would, I have this gem here, my anti-brain rot series that was helping me write a series for social media on, not brain rotting. You can create or edit the gems. You could just chuck a prompt in here. You can use other LLMs to create it if you want. And then every time it's going to know to respond in a certain way. So if you select the gem of, like when I get an email, say we ask a gem to draft a reply in my voice, make sure that you are avoiding all AI slop patterns in speech, put it in the draft, and include my calendar booking link on every email. And a gem could be that simple. In this case, you would just have that built into the regular Ask Gemini one, but you can make gems that are like this as well. Gems are custom GPTs, are skills, are prompts, essentially. They're all one and the same. It just depends what platform you're on. They all work the same. They just call everything something slightly different, which is kind of confusing, but at least the features are always all there, right? So this is going to be how you do all of that in your Google Workspace. You can do something very similar if you use Outlook. You probably have Copilot built in. I don't like Copilot. Like I said, most AIs are the same, but somehow Copilot is just stupider. Like all Microsoft products, it tries so hard and it does not work as well as we all hoped it would. So if you can hook up your ChatGPT or Claude to your Outlook and run the same kind of workflow. You can screenshot any of these. Which one was it? Probably this one. Yeah. So you could, if you want to screenshot this, you can chuck that into one of your GPTs or your LLMs, your AIs, say, hey, I want to create this workflow for my Outlook. Help me do it. And it'll go on and help you do it. You could do it in Copilot if you want to try it, but it might be a situation that's better done outside of it, even though Copilot is probably going to be easier. If you have it built in like it's a corporate sponsored Outlook, like you're not in charge of it, you would probably have to use Copilot just to get through the security and privacy things. But if it's your Outlook, you own it, you pay for the Microsoft 365, then you should be able to use, as far as I know, any of the other AIs out there. But I hope this helps you at least get your inbox under control and you see all the other things that you can do with it, including you can get news updates and draft replies. And this using a doc in Gemini, using a doc would be like your company doc, or if you don't have a document of your company stuff that like you would want an assistant to know, go into Gemini, go into a separate tab, go into Gemini, have it interview you to create the document it's going to need for this. That's the thing. You don't have to come up with any of this on your own. You can ask the AI you're working with or any other AI to interview you, pull out everything it needs because you told it what you're going to basically use it for. Ask it to interview you, what's missing, what could be better, what does it suggest, and then move it. Moving through and using all the different AIs, not all of them, but several of them, is going to be how you use AI more efficiently than everybody else. And you're able to stay on the like $20 plans versus having to go up to the $100 and $200 a month plans. So even the free ones, you can get away with doing quite a bit in here. Or if you already pay for Google Workspace, you already have this built into your subscription. You don't need to pay again. If you have, Microsoft 360, you already have Copilot. You don't need to pay again. So there's different things that are built in to different softwares. I suggest you use them, especially if you're already paying for them, right? Let me know if you have any questions, troubleshooting, anything like that. I am always happy to help. And that's it. I hope you guys have a rockin' rest of your Wednesday.